Good morning, and good morning again. Listen. Welcome to another Real Talk broadcast. We're excited today to invite you today. Let me just start by saying welcome to our Facebook Live family. Those of you who are joining by way of Facebook, come on in. We've got an amazing 60 minutes for you. It's a new series today. I promise you will be blessed. So I'll give you your money back. How about that one? I want to welcome also our YouTube family, those that are joining us by way of YouTube. What a delight it is to have all of you joining us today. I cannot wait to bless your soul today. I guarantee you that we'll get on your road today. If you will just give us just a little bit of your time this morning, I promise you, without any shadow of a doubt, we'll get on your road today. Let me say again, welcome to all of you who have joined us again this morning. We're so thankful for you. Listen, if you can hear me this morning, what it means is that you are indeed a survivor. Whatever happened last night, whatever happened this week, this month, listen, we're already 5 months into the year. So the truth of the matter is, if you can hear me, you are actually a survivor. So we congratulate you for being in this space on today, that despite what life has thrown at you, you've been able to still survive and be here. Good morning, and good morning again. I want to ask you to do me a couple of favors this morning, that there is this new series that we embarked upon. I'm on an assignment today to speak to someone who's in a dark space. Listen, I'm telling you right now, we've been very prayerful, trying to hear your voices. This is directly in response to those of you who have been using our Your Voice Matters link. And so I want to bless you today. We want to get started. We've got a long ways to go. I want to also ask you to take a moment to share how you can join this broadcast. We have a couple of ways, and I'd like to talk about those for just a second. For example, you can join us every Saturday on Facebook Live. You see it on your screen right there. You can join us on Dr. K.L. Williams Ministries Facebook page. And then can I tell you something? Over a year and a half ago, I am the product of what happens when you step out on faith. A year and a half ago, I didn't even have YouTube presence, but I'm thankful for an IT team who has been incredibly supportive. We now have a YouTube channel. You see it right on your screen, Dr. K.L. Williams Space Ministry. Any session that we've had, it's chronologized on our YouTube channel. You can go there, review, refresh any of the sessions, broadcasts, guests that we've had as well. And I'm thankful for that. And then you can also dial in, yes, by way of a phone. At the bottom of your screen, this is a key point. Your Voice is a link that our IT team has set up, bit.ly/Real Talk Your Voice. If you'll send us a comment there, I promise you we'll be able to hear directly from you. As a matter of fact, the session that you're going to hear today is a direct result of listeners saying that they're struggling in some dark spaces, and we wanted to create a series around some real talk around some dark space conversation. We hear every Saturday for 60 minutes only, from 9 to 10. You see at the bottom the ways that you can benefit. We address life issues. Listen, it's straight 100 honest, transparent conversation. This is not a space for those folks who are 15 and 16. No, we have some real talk conversation, and we ask you if you want some real talk to join us. It's practical tools. We give you some resources. We're going to give you some more today. I cannot wait to share some of the resources with helping you to cope with some of the dark spaces, and anyone can participate. So let's get started today. I want to ask you to do me a couple of quick things. If you will, we ask you to take and go in and hit the like button. Want to say good morning. We are so thankful for all of you who are joining in. If you type in amen, good morning, hi, anything, it allows us to know that you're hanging out with us this morning. Come on out in the weeds. Let me know you're hanging out with me for this morning, for these next few moments. I want to tell you that we're unapologetic and blessing your soul. Also, you can type in the comments. Yes, we want to hear if we're blessing you on today. And then finally, we want to ask you to share. If you know somebody who is struggling, they're at the crossroads, they got some dark days in their future, I want to tell you this morning, this series is directly designed for you. I want to ask you, good morning, Sister Aretha Wilson, my good friend all the way from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Sister Denise Farmville, she's already checking in with me. She wants to know, do I have my little granddaughter? And today the answer is no, but I hung out with her last week, and I wanted you to know one thing for sure, that it's a powerful statement, that it's unapologetic. Life gets in the way sometimes, but you got to keep pushing forward. And so I'm thankful. My mentor is on. Good morning, Mr. Flanagan, all the way from Jacksonville, North Carolina, my elementary grade teacher. What a delight it is to have you hanging out with us this morning. And so listen, I want to be respectful of your time. I have some amazing resources for you today. This series, I'm going to ask our IT team to put that splash page back up once again, because this is what this series is all about. It's navigating through dark waters. Who is it that's on this line today that has had some dark days? You've been in some dark situations. Let me help you real good. We're going to talk about that. That's really not all that uncommon. And the reality is, if you can just hold on, I promise you, there's some good days ahead of you, navigating through dark waters. And what we're going to be focusing on is don't die in the winter. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get started. You know about the winter season. It's not something most people look forward to. And so thank you again for that. I want to get started. We've got a PowerPoint prepared for you today, and I want to go ahead and get started so that we can maximize our time. Please feel free to send your comments in. We'll give you a shout out just like we did for these as well. And so here we have it. This session is called Real Talk. This is what our broadcast is all about. This is not about for the faint of heart, those persons that cannot take some strong conversation, because here's the thing, life comes at you, and when it comes at you, you best have some coping strategies one way or the other. And so we're committed to bringing you some coaching series around life's issues. We talked several weeks around looking for love in all the wrong places. I hope you were blessed by that. The fact that there are so many people who were looking for love, but they're looking for it in all the wrong places. You can go back for that entire series on our YouTube channel. And so let's get started on our new series, Navigating Through Dark Waters. All right, next slide, please. And so here we have it. This is the topic that we'll be dealing with over the next couple of weeks, navigating through dark waters. I don't know about you, but everybody has those times. And what we want to do is to give you some coping skills when your dark waters comes. All right, next slide, please. I want you to know that this series is biblically based. I want you to know that it is important for you, just as we had a scriptural foundation for looking for love in all the wrong places, we have a biblical foundation for navigating through dark waters. It's found in Psalms 142. I wanted to read that. We talked and skimmed over it last week, but I wanted to spend just a moment this morning so that you would be biblically grounded along with myself. Psalms 142 is the NIV version. It says, I cried. Look at the beginning of the heading. This is why we chose this series. This is a Psalm of David. And look at this. It was when he was in a cave, David created a prayer. Oh my gosh, I'm already helping somebody. Listen, if you're in a cave, you feel like you're isolated, you're all by yourself, it's dark, cold, and dreary in that cave. Look at what David does when he finds himself in a dark space. David says, I cried aloud to the Lord. I lift up my voice to the Lord for mercy. I pour out my complaint before him. Before him, I tell my troubles. When my spirit grows faint within me, it is you who knows my way. In the path where I walk, men have hidden a snare for me. Look to my right, and I see no one is concerned for me. I have no refuge. No one cares for my life. Verse 5, I cry to you, O Lord. I say, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I am a desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. Then the righteous will gather about me because of your goodness to me. This is the biblical foundation. I'll read it every time we gather together because you need that grounding when you're in these dark spaces. So when we talk about navigating through dark waters, it's really just saying, where is that dark space? For David, it was in a cave. For you, it could be in the middle of a health situation. For someone else, it can be right in the middle of a relational situation. But I got some good news for you. David shows us a way to navigate through the dark waters. And that's what we're here to talk about. So let's get started. Next slide, please. Navigating through dark waters. These are some of the topics that we're going to be dealing with. First of all, our topic today is our God is a seasonal God. That's what we're going to anchor down and talk about. But you also need to know that there's another session on the 4 seasons in your life. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but no season lasts forever. We're going to show you that also. How to recognize the approach of your season, because sometimes the seasons change and you're in shock because you didn't even see it coming. A season of pain for a season of gain. It is to suggest that every pain has a purpose. Who am I speaking to? I can't wait to get to that season for you. And then how about this one? Persecution is preparation for a miracle. I'm telling you right now, there was an old saying that says, the greater the level, the bigger the devil. I'm helping somebody today. Don't let nobody fool you. You don't advance without some level of persecution. There are so many who want the good thing, but they don't want the persecution that comes with it. And I always tell people, listen, when we get to the session, you will hear me say that there is no promised land without an Egypt experience. There are people who want the promised land promises, but they don't want those Egypt experiences. You know, Pharaoh's in Egypt. And I want to tell you, there's some hard days there. And then how about this session? Opposition is God's opportunity. I don't know who I'm speaking to today, but the reality is the very fact that you have a situation is an opportunity for God to show himself mighty for you. So instead of complaining, much like David, you ought to learn to turn that complaint actually into a point of privilege that you praise God. Next slide, please. There's some other sessions that we're going to be talking about. How about this? Seasonal transitions. You need to know that when the seasons change, there's a process you need to go through to prepare yourself. One of my favorite is the next session called God's holding pattern. Can you stand? I know there's somebody that says they're waiting on the answer to their prayer. And I'm telling you right now, can you stand the holding pattern? That is simply to say God's not said no and he's not said yes yet. He has you in that holding pattern. I'm trying to help somebody today. It's one of those sermons that I love to preach on. Delayed, but not denied. Listen, I got to move forward because that's not what I'm here to talk about today. But somebody needs to know that you're in God's holding pattern. It doesn't mean that he said no and he's still trying to get you to the yes. And then how about this one? Another series topic on out of sync, out of season. That there is this notion that you could be out of your season. And so the next topic is be not weary in well doing. I'm telling you right now that there is a wonderful topic that we're going to talk about, that sometimes you're in a season of working, and in that season of working, you sometimes get weary. And I always try to say to people, it's okay to get weary in the way, just don't get weary of the way. Ooh, I'm helping somebody on a Saturday morning. Listen, it's okay to sometimes we get tired doing good things, but all I ask you is don't get tired of the way. That is simply to say that we are on a walk and a journey, and don't get tired of the journey. And then we talked just a little bit last time on a topic, in due season. For the good book says, you shall reap in due season if you just don't faint. I'm telling you right now, somebody today, this series is designed for you, how to stand in dark waters. And then we close this series out. You ready for this? With God's Weather Channel. Let me tell you right now, listen, there is a wonderful adage that if you want to know what the weather's going to be like, most of us get up early in the morning and look at our weather channel. But isn't it good to know that God's got a weather channel also to let you know when the seasons start to change? And so these are the topics that we're going to be handling over the next couple of weeks. I invite you to please find a friend and a neighbor and ask them, are you having some dark days? We've got a series going on, and please join us. Okay, let's go forward now. Next slide. So as we talk about the first topic, God is a seasonal God. Can I talk with you today to tell you that there are 4 seasons in just life? It's not even spiritual. This is just basic human knowledge that there are 4 seasons. And we know those seasons, but I didn't want to assume that from anybody. I wanted to just put them on the screen. First of all, everybody loves summer. Well, I don't say everybody, because I found some people that say they didn't really care too much for the summertime. But summer means the warmest season of the year, that is after spring and before autumn. Summer is that season. If you love the warmth, you know how it is. You go around the water, you find folks all over the place. They trying to celebrate the warmth of the season. That is called summer. And then, yes, we have spring. Yes, that's another season. Spring is the season between winter and summer, where the weather, listen to this, becomes warmer and plants start to grow again. Oh my gosh, isn't it good? Somebody needs to know that you headed for a spring season, that you've been in that dry, dark season. But I got good news for you. There is such a thing as a spring season. And in the spring season, it is where things start warming up and plants start to grow again. Somebody needs to know that it will start growing again in your life. And then we have autumn, or some people call it the fall season. This is a season after summer where the leaves fall from trees. It's also the season, listen to this, where the days get shorter and colder and everything starts to turn brown. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I may be describing the season that you're in right now. And all I want you to understand is one thing, is that life is about seasons. And if you're in that fall season where it looks like things are falling off, your career seems like it's on a fall, it's turning brown. Listen, days are getting shorter. That means you don't have as much time to do the same thing you did before, and it gets colder. Oh my gosh, who am I speaking to today? And things start turning brown. I want you to know that that is called a fall season. And then finally, yes, it is winter. That's what we're hampering down on. Winter is one of those 4 seasons and the coldest time of the year. Yes, it is. I'm telling you now. Winter is that time where the days are shorter, and watch this, and the nights are longer. Who am I speaking to? Winter comes after autumn and before the spring. Winter is that time where, number one, you don't have as much time to do as you did before, and the nights are much longer. I'm speaking to somebody today in that winter season. But if you're in that winter season, we got some good tools to give you. Next slide, please. And so life really is about endurance. This whole sermon, life real talk coaching series is about how do you endure. This is what we're wanting to say today. Listen to the contrast. So you have on your left this wonderful picture of water underground or underwater, if you will. This picture shows you that you can see clearly even underwater. Ooh, it's a good season, let me tell you. People use this season right here for vacation, for all types of uh, extracurricular activities. They go deep sea diving. You can see all the wonderful attractions underwater. I'm talking about this picture is a picture that is of blue water underwater. Let me help somebody today. That's a nice place to be. People use this season when things are well in their lives. And then, oh, let me help you. Look on the right. There's a picture of not only some dark water, but it's some rough, dark water. Think about it. You can't even see underwater at all. You can't even see above water for that matter. The rough waves, listen, and the dark waters. That's a bad combination. Let me help somebody right there. And I'm telling you right now today that what this series is all about. I want to tell you today that life is about trying to endure in these hard seasons. I want to say good morning, Deacon Suggs, all the way from Greenville, North Carolina. Let me tell you, if I stop right here, this is one of the keys to navigating through dark waters. That the endurance of being able to go from one picture to the next is what this series is all about. Don't give up in the blue season where you can see all things clear, because I got some news for you. We're going to show you that it don't stay blue all day. Who am I speaking to that can say to me, Williams, you're already on my road? I've had my season of blue, clear waters, but let me tell you something. It's not blue right now. And so I want to talk to somebody today. Every person is charged with how do you endure. The word for the day is endurance. That simply means, do you have enough gas in the gas tank? Ooh, there it is right there. I'm talking to somebody right there. You need to check your gas needle. I'm helping somebody on a Saturday morning that when you're in the dark waters, you have to make sure you have enough gas in the gas tank, because I want to help you today. If you don't take nothing else away, look at the contrast between these two pictures. One picture is clear. You can see all the nice attractions, all the nice coral reefs, all the wonderful ecosystems. I mean, listen, it's a beautiful picture, and many people use it for deep sea diving, to be able to go in the water and see so many wonderful things. But let me tell you right now, there is also another picture, and that we will be well served to know that life has some dark waters. And when you realize that there are dark waters, there are some things you need to know. Next slide, please. All right. So let's get at it right here. Don't die in your winter season. There are some affirmations that simply means when you get to the night season, when you get to the dark season, there's some things you have to speak to yourself. And I wanted to put them on a PowerPoint that you'd be able to take them and use them for your good. Now, remember those two pictures, because I promise you now, it's not going to stay clear the whole time. And I got some good news for you. It's not going to stay dark the entire time either. So when you're in that dark season, you should tell yourself, this too shall pass. It is a wonderful affirmation to yourself to remind you that this is not going to last forever. Listen at my second bullet point. No season lasts forever. I want to tell you something right now. I don't care who you are and where you're from. I got some good news for you, that God sent me on assignment to tell you right now on this Saturday morning that I don't care what it is you're going through. No season lasts forever. And you need to take that and put it on your refrigerator. If you're in that dark season, if you're in some dark water where you can't even see your hand in front of your face, you need to know that no season lasts forever. Yes, I'm speaking good to somebody. And watch this. The third bullet point says the sun will shine again. It is for you to tell yourself when you're in those dark waters, that this sun will shine again. And I love the fourth bullet point. There's a silver lining in the cloud. Yes, 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 yes. I'm here to tell you that even though the cloud is dark and it's got a lot of rain and thunder and lightning, behind that dark cloud is a silver lining. I'm here to help somebody today. Sister Fonville, you are exactly right. Trouble don't last always. I'm so glad Timothy Wright wrote the song that trouble don't last always. Who am I speaking to? I'm doing my level best not to get happy on a Saturday morning because I've had trouble come knock on my door. Oh, yes, I have. But I had enough affirmation to tell myself trouble don't last always. I want you to get one of these affirmations and put them on your refrigerator, put them in your phone. Yes, put them on an index card and have them as a tool when you're going to navigate through some dark waters. Because can I tell you something? We all are tasked with having some dark waters. But the thing is, what's that word? Endurance. You have to have endurance. Now, how do you have endurance? The endurance is through affirmations. Number one, you have to tell yourself that this is not going to last forever. That this, what I'm going to, will pass after a while. God bless you on today. I'm trying to help somebody navigate through some dark waters. And so I wanted to go real slow because this right here is a game changer. Why, Williams? Because the good book says we overcome by the word of our testimony. I'm here to tell you that one of the things that will help you get through a dark season is you have to have affirmation. You must. There is no negotiations about it. Good morning, Sister Ethel Fredericks, all the way from Virginia on today. I'm trying to speak to us today to remind somebody, don't you dare give up. I'm speaking directly into this broadcast camera on today. I'm on assignment to let you know one thing, that the dark waters that you're going through, David went through them. Oh, I'm going to go down the list and tell you, there's so many biblical patriots that went through them. But I got some news for you. There's some people in our lives that have gone through dark spaces, and they taught us, Lord have mercy, how to work our way through some dark waters. Let me tell you something right now. If I don't give you anything else today, endurance. You need to be able to endure. That simply means don't give up. How do you not give up? You got to affirm yourself. You got to talk to yourself. And I've given you a couple of affirmations here. I pray that you'll take one and make it your theme as you go through dark waters. Next slide, please. All right. In this season that our God is seasonal, I want you to understand that God is a seasonal God. And the fact that God is seasonal, he took creation. Listen to this. And he reveals that life is about seasons. And yes, life is divided into seasons. I need to keep saying it. Life is divided into seasons. So let's talk about it in our world that we live in. Each division of the year is called a season. Yes, life has seasons. We just told you the 4 seasons in the very beginning. But I want to drill down a little bit further because sometimes that sounds real cliche-ish. Life is about a season. But here's the thing. Each season is characterized by certain changes. There's a rainy season. I'm telling you, we call them dog days, where it just rains unending. Who am I speaking to that can say, boy, Williams, you are on my road this morning. Every time I turn around, the rain is falling. Listen. I want to tell you, when it's raining, there's certain things you can't do. There are certain places you cannot go because the rain is overshadowing the event. Think about the person who's made all these plans to have an outdoor event, and then here comes the rain. That season of rain, you got to autocorrect. There's a season called the dry season. Oh, am I talking to anybody today? That every time you turn around, it's a dry season. Nothing grows, nothing moves, everything is parched, starving for water. It's the opposite of a rainy season. Can you imagine? One person is getting too much rain, and then here comes somebody else saying, I can't get enough rain. Ooh, I'm happy today because I'm telling you, I've been in them rainy seasons. I've been in those dry seasons. And then there is a planting season. Can I tell you that you have to put something in the ground, my friend, before you can expect something to come out of the ground. Oh, I know I'm talking good on a Saturday morning because somebody has been looking for a season that you can receive. But I need to tell you that there is actually a season where the farmers know that if you want a good harvest, you got to plant in the right season. Woo. I ain't talking about just having a good seed. I'm talking about having enough knowledge to know when to plant, because you can't plant in the dead of a winter. I'm trying to help somebody today. The good news is this, is that when you're in these dark seasons, you need to understand that there are other seasons as well. There is this season I just spoke about of a harvest season. It comes after you've planted in the right season. I'm talking to somebody today because when you plant in the right season, you can also receive in the right season. Listen, and then there is what we call a hurricane season. These are just a few of the types of seasons that life can throw at you. Next slide, please. And so look now at this. Wanted to give you a scriptural reference. You can put in your archives. Paul records, nevertheless, he gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness. My friend, I want to tell you that being in dark waters is not uncommon. No. The truth of the matter is, do you have the coping skills to get through the dark waters? Paul says here that there is two seasons. Listen, God gave us rain. It came from heaven. That there are actually benefits from the rain season. But you have to endure, and you have to affirm yourself that it's not going to rain forever. And the reality is, you're not the first person that it rained in. Okay? So you have to tell yourself through affirmation. Now, next slide. Here's another one that I like. To everything, there is a season. I'm sure you've heard about it, but I wanted to put it into your toolbox on today. It's out of the book of Ecclesiastes. That's an Old Testament passage. And I wanted to talk about this for a second, because some people think that it's going to be the way it is the rest of their lives. And I came to tell you, Solomon, who was one of the wisest men of his time, tells us that for everything there is a season. Oh my goodness, I want to help somebody today. This is life-changing, because while you're navigating through life's dark waters, you can hold your head up. You can have a smile, and folks will be all around you saying, how in the world can they have such a good, positive attitude navigating through such dark waters? And it is because you have the knowledge that your God is seasonal, that he will take you through a season. But the season, my friend, does not last forever. Listen to what Solomon says. a time for every activity under heaven. I want to set somebody free today that even though you're walking through a season right now, don't fall victim. And it is an easy path to fall victim on, thinking that it's going to be this way always. Listen to what Solomon says. There's a time to be born. Did you hear what he says? Like, everybody needs to know that there's a season to be born. And then everybody needs to know there's a time to die. So that simply means that you're not just going to be being born all your lives. The very fact that you were born, this is a good place for those dealing with grief. I want to help you. If your dark space, if those dark waters are around the loss of a loved one, I came by to talk to you today to let you know that there is a season. There's a time to be born, and then there is a time to die. Now, listen, that time, that season is different for every single person. I know people. I just saw a lady on the social media, 109 years old. Lord have mercy. Her time has not come to die. And then there are those who die early. To every person, there is a season. And you need to know that there's a time to be born, and there is also a time to die. Listen, Solomon says a time to plant. That means that the ground is ready to receive. That means the season is right to help you. And then there's a time to harvest. Listen, you can't put no seed in the ground today and then go expect to get the good book say put a grain of corn in the ground and then expect a stalk to come up tomorrow. It don't work like that. Who am I talking to on a Saturday morning? You need to know that there's a time. The key word is time. There is a season when you put it in the ground, and you need to know that there's a season when you can go back and get what you planted. Oh, I want to help somebody today. Your prayer is, God, help me to stand my season. Help me to endure. Listen, a time to kill and a time to heal. Y'all ain't going to help me today. Listen, a time to kill and a time to heal. There is different seasons. I want to tell you now, there's times to kill, and then there's a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. I want to tell you, there are times, seasons where what you've been dealing with, you ready for this? It's time to tear it down. Yes, Lord. Because here's the thing. You can't get the rebuilding process until you go through the tearing down process. Yes, listen to what Solomon says. There's a time to cry and a time to laugh. Because everything ain't funny. Who am I speaking to on today? There are times when life will come. You're in that dark, dry season. And I'm telling you something. David said in Psalms 142, he cried aloud unto God. And can I help somebody today? You've not been into a situation until it made you cry. Who am I talking to today? There are things in this life that will bring tears to your eyes. I wish I had somebody that would say, talk Williams, because you on my road. I've lived long enough to know that even in my righteous, God-fearing self, that there are times when life comes at me, I didn't even see it coming. And listen, it brought tears to my eyes. I can give you a classic example. You're trying to build a relationship with someone thinking that life is going great in a friendly relationship, only to find out that the person was not even trustworthy. They didn't even deserve your trust. Who am I speaking to? And it brought tears to your eyes. But guess what? God got you through that season. And now you have a time to laugh. Isn't God good? I know he is. Listen, there's a time to grieve. Somebody today is still in that season, but I got good news for you. Don't give up, don't give out, and don't give in. Because even though that's your season now, I came to tell you that the good master, look at what he says. There's a time to grieve, but somebody is headed for a time to dance. I feel real good on a Saturday morning because I'm on assignment to talk to somebody that's been in a season of grief. God wants you to understand that if you hang on and hold out, he got a season where he'll turn that grief into dancing. Oh, I know you in dark waters and you can't see it. You're saying, there's no way that can be possible. And I want to tell you, if you get yourself a good affirmation that trouble don't last always, and that behind every dark cloud is a silver lining, that there is a place of dancing, that God will turn your grief into dancing. Listen, there's a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones. Can I talk to somebody today that somebody needs to scatter some stones that are in your life? There are folks who don't mean you no good. There are leeches. There are folks who are trying to drain your positivity out. There is a time when you have to cut those strings. That's exactly what I'm saying. Cut those strings and scatter those stones. That means get rid of them. Man wrote a song one time, said, I can do bad by myself. Who am I speaking to? That there are those who are saying that I need to get in a season where I start scattering some stones. This is a good place for you to do some inventory around those folks that are hanging out around you. They don't mean no good. They ain't trying to do no good. And if you ain't sharp and you keep fooling with them, you won't be doing no good. I'm telling you this morning, I'm on assignment to tell somebody to scatter those stones. I feel good. Because guess what? After you scatter those stones, you begin to gather some different stones. Isn't it wonderful to live so that you can have friends that are reliable, friends that are trustworthy? Can I tell you something on a Saturday morning? Some people don't even deserve your trust. They don't even deserve your friendship. Who am I speaking to? I know I'm talking real good on a Saturday morning today. And I'm telling you right now that this is a good time for somebody to talk to yourself and ask yourself, listen, I counsel people all the time talking about stones. Listen to this. If you're in some dark waters, what I found is all you have to do is look at the people in your immediate circle. Those people will determine how you navigate through the dark waters. Watch this. For the good book says, two cannot walk together except they agree. I don't know who I'm speaking to today, but I'm on this space about scattering stones and then gathering some new ones. I'm telling you right now, I am committed to ultimately inventorying my surroundings. And when I'm in dark seasons, Mr. Flanagan, I don't want no naysayers around me. I don't want these folks who are trying to be negative naysayers. Listen, they're negative prone. Listen, everything about them's negative. And if you're not sharp, when you're in some dark waters, you already can't figure out which way to go. You can't even hardly see your hand in front of your face. And then you have these people who are stones, who mean you no well. I want to talk to somebody today that you have to do some inventory. And can I tell you something? David talked about it in Psalms 142. He talked about being around people that he looked on his left and on his right, and there was no man there. Sometimes in the dark waters, all you can do is have trust in a God above. Because some of these people who call themselves friends, they're like my grandmother. She say, God deliver me from fair weather friends. Who am I speaking to on a Saturday morning that you're in a dark space? You can't figure out what your next step is. The waves are whipping. Listen, everything about you seems uncontrollable. And it is in those moments you don't need fair weather friends. Those friends that's only around you for what they can get out of you. I came by today to tell somebody, scatter those stones. And when you do it, God will give you some new stones that you can gather that will be with you. There's a time to embrace and a time to turn away. Solomon is teaching us that there are times when you want to embrace. Yes. And then there are times to turn away. Everybody that want to give you a hug don't mean you no good. Woo! I know I'm talking good on a Saturday morning. Somebody is in the middle of a dark time, and you have to assess yourself that there are folks who are coming to try to embrace you, but the reality is they don't really mean you any good. And all you got to do is watch the season. They are not going to be able to endure. Listen, think about the folks who've been in your life. A time to embrace and a time to turn away. I want to give somebody this adage, and may it help set you free in your dark navigating waters. There are friends, they say, that come into your lives for three seasons. It's a season for just a short amount of time. There's a season for a reason. Oh my gosh. They came in your season just for one reason. You were in the middle of a dark season. Have you ever thought about this? There's a person, and listen, you don't even know how to get in touch with them today, but they were just what you needed at that time. They came into your life in that season, and it was for that particular reason. And today, you don't even know how to reach them. It is because there are people that come in for a season, a reason, and if God smiles on you, every now and then, you'll get somebody to come in your life for a lifetime. And this is what Solomon was saying. There's a time to embrace, and guess what? There's a time to turn away, because everybody is not going to stay there the whole time. And then some people are just for a season. There's a time to search and a time to quit searching. It's right here in the text. There are times when people are searching. You're in this dark place trying to get answers and answers and answers. And then there's a time where you have to say, like the old saints say in the hymn, we'll understand it better by and by. I've been there. I've been to sermons. I've been to funerals, and I've seen people with what we call untimely deaths, and the people are searching. Why? Sometimes you can search and find the reason, and then sometimes you have to quit searching and understand that I'll understand it better by and by. Solomon says that there is a time and a season for everything, and it's okay to search. I know I'm talking good, but every now and then you have to realize that there comes a time when you have to quit searching. Yes. There's a time to keep and a time to throw away. Oh my goodness, who am I speaking to on today? There's a time to keep. Some things, my friends, even in dark waters, are worth keeping. If you find someone that's worth keeping, I want to tell you right now, you've been blessed from above. But then I want to tell you also, there's a time where you have to come in those dark spaces and acknowledge the fact that this is not healthy. It's toxic, and it's not in my best interest. I'm talking to someone today. In the middle of your dark season, you still have to learn how to keep some things and how to throw some things away. I want to help somebody today. Listen, Solomon says there's a time to tear and a time to mend. One of the challenges that people have in their dark seasons is that it becomes dark. Remember now, when you're navigating through dark waters, much like David says, you can't even much see your hand in front of your face, and your reasoning faculties become unclear. We call it in business worlds a lapse of judgment. Who is it that I'm speaking to? That there comes a time where you have to tear, and there comes a time when you have to mend. Some things and some people you have to tear away from. And then sometimes after the dark season is over, my friend, you have to go to a time of mending. That simply means finding ways to put it back together again. Now, this is the one I love to hear. If you have a card or a postcard or index card or piece of paper, I want you to write this one down. There's a time to be quiet and a time to speak. It is one of those tripping points in many people's dark spaces. Do you know we have one mouth and two ears? Yes. From an anatomy perspective, the good Lord built us with one mouth and two ears. It is to suggest that we should do twice as much listening as we do speaking. But can I tell you something? That's why you need affirmations. That's why I gave it to you in the beginning, because when you're navigating through a dark space, you don't want to be saying the wrong thing. Let me just help somebody today in the middle of a navigating of a dark space. Maybe it's a bad relationship with a child, and you say this child is getting on your nerves. Listen to this. You can't bless the same thing that you're cursing. Oh, I want to talk to somebody on a Saturday morning, because the good book says that life is in the power of your tongue. And then it goes further to underscore that bitter and sweet water cannot flow from the same fountain. My friends, when you're in a dark navigating water situation, you have to mind what you say. Ooh, I'm telling you now, it's not an easy feat, but it is one that is required. I'm trying to help somebody today to come to the knowledge that you must learn to manage your emotions, or guess what? Your emotions will manage you. My time is about out. Good Lord have mercy. But I want to tell you something. There's a time to love and a time to hate. Yes, God hates. There are 7 sins. Did you know that God himself identified 7 sins that he cannot stand? I'm telling you now, there are things that you should hate, and there are times to love as well. There's a time for war and a time for peace. I got to get out of here. My time is up. Listen, God is a seasonal God. I want you to understand, next slide, please, that the reality is life is about being able to endure. When we look at this session today, my closing remarks in trying to navigate through dark waters is ride out the storm. That's what I want to close with on today, because the truth is that this too shall pass. God uses nature to reaffirm to us as believers that life is about seasons. It doesn't stay spring forever. It doesn't stay summer forever. It doesn't stay fall forever. And my friends, if you're in a winter season, it doesn't stay winter forever. I want to talk to somebody today in my closing, and I want to tell you, don't you dare give up. Don't you dare throw in the towel, even though it's so dark that you cannot see your hand in front of you. I want to tell you something right now, that there is a brighter day ahead. I want to tell you in my closing, one of the affirmations that blessed my soul when I was in one of the darkest spaces of my career. There was a song that came out, and I'm telling you, it says, "The storm is passing over." It helped me to understand that the storm that I was in, it was not going to last forever. I want you to think about this. I took a trip to Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina. I remember it was an image I shall never forget. They had X's, they had circles on every house in the neighborhood we went through. Imagine a large circle on that house on the outside. And then on the inside of that circle, they had an X. And you look on that X, and it may say 6, it may say 10, it may say 5, it may say 3. And when I tell you something, I asked the tour guide, what did that number mean? And it said the number of deaths that were in that house. But let me tell you something. It's 2022. The lower ninth has rebounded, and Hurricane Katrina is over. As much devastation as it did, the reality is it's back up and running again. And I want to talk to somebody today in my closing words. God gave me this series to speak directly to somebody that's on the brink of throwing in the towel. And I want to suggest to you that if you just hold on and hold out, the storm is passing over. I feel good because I'm actually a living testimony. I'm not even supposed to be here today. What you're looking at is the product of what happens when you hold on and hold out. Put your hand in the master's hand, and I promise you, He'll make everything all right. This is our session today. Just keep in mind, we're going to be drilling down. We've got some new material, some new resources to give you as well. We're in the business of giving you coping skills to help you navigate through the dark waters. That's my time today. I want to invite you once again to go back. You can invite someone else as well. You can go to our YouTube channel. But more importantly, I want you to go and hit that button down at the bottom, your voice. Tell us what's on your mind. Give us ways that we can continue to be able to have more real talk. Listen, my friends, this is not for the faint of heart. We're going to be talking about some ways that's dark and dreary. These navigating waters have all different types of shapes and forms. Your navigating dark waters is going to be different than mine, and mine will be different than yours. But I got good news for you. The reality is, if you hold on and hold out, God will make everything all right. Listen, it's at the bottom of your screen. You see the Real Talk link. I want you to send us other topics that you want us to dive into. My friends, you know who you are. You asked us to help you to navigate through some dark waters, and this series is designed for you in mind. I want to suggest to you today, in my closing today, that no matter who you are, you're not in this by yourself. One of the most profounding affirmations when you're in dark waters is that the enemy and your naysayers, they try to make you think that you're in this by yourself. You are not the first person to go through a divorce. Let me speak to you. This is some real talk. You are not the first person to have a bankruptcy on your credit report. You, my friend, are not the first person to have ever lost a home. I came to tell you something, that the seasons will change if you just hold on and hold out. You are not the first person to have lost a loved one. I want to tell you something. It's a strong, stinging statement, but I want you to understand something, that when you understand that you're not the first person, I want to help you, that there are those, what we call support groups. And that's what I want to help you talk about too, that there are some strong support groups that will help you in your dark season. We're going to give you some resources to help you. My time is up, and I want to thank you again for yours. Please meet us again for another 60 minutes of some strong, straight talk around navigating through dark waters. I want to pray with you now. My time is up, but I certainly don't want to leave this space without offering God's blessings on you. Until next time, shall you join me in prayer today? Father, we thank you for a great time of fellowship today, and certainly thank you for interaction with your people. We're asking you, Father, to give us the strength, the tenacity, oh Father, the endurance to be able to make it through whatever this dark season is. We're all on assignment, Lord, to move through from this season to the next. I pray, Father, that you would grant us the space and the privilege to be able to hold on until our next season comes. We ask these and all other blessings now. In your name we pray. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you. May God be gracious unto you, and may he give you peace until we meet again. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until next time.